people how they're doing, they say I'm overwhelmed. I've come to realize I hate that phrase. Like I don't know what it is. It's like almost like nails on the chalkboard. And it's not because it's not real and life isn't full, but it's because I think that it's that word overwhelmed is becoming a part of our default saying that just chalks up everything that we're feeling into this little phrase. And I don't even think we even know when we say we feel overwhelmed what it is we're actually even talking about.
Welcome to Lead Like a Girl, where we are empowering everyday women through our stories. I'm your host, Jessica Smith, and I began this journey by sharing my life story. Now, I've joined forces with my longtime friends, Jamie and Coralyn, to keep this party going. We met many years ago as young sales girls in our 20s, driven and quickly rising to the top of our industry. As the years went on, life happened, and we all found ourselves in new companies and completely different industries, still striving for success in it all. Career, family, faith, fun. Now, it wasn't easy, but we never stopped moving. Get ready for our real conversations, inspiring stories, and our big life lessons as we share it all. The good, the bad, and the funny. Welcome to Lead Like a Girl.
That's the
All right,
best
welcome.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Lead Like a Girl. I am Coralyn, and I'm here with my two best friends, Jamie and Jessica. We've already had a huge laugh fest, and we are only in like 10 minutes in. But how are you, ladies?
No.
You are. Good thing.
For the listeners who were not part of the last 10 minutes, traveling for your job and then like having to stop 5 times to get on your computer and like do your job while you're driving, and then you show up in your hotel and then you're like, oh my gosh, I finally got my manager on the phone and now I have to get this to these 5 people. That is overwhelmed.
Is that like a normal day of on the road salesperson? That has been out of my existence for a long time. Do you feel like that is like a normal day for you?
Oh yeah. It's like the 2-hour drive takes 5 because you have to stop so much.
Which I would say is better than probably doing all of that stuff, because I'm sure that there's a lot of people that have that role, but there's doing that while they're driving. They're like, I can just type away, be on my phone, text, and then that's not
Which
good.
you can't. You have to pull over and get your computer out and then hotspot it and then get on it and then modify.
Well, I think there's something to be said there. So we can talk about this later, but there may be an invention of some sort that will make it easy for salespeople or just people that are on the road and they need to do their job. They should need an app where you can talk through all of that.
There probably is AI tools, like we just need an agent, right? Like something like that. Well, that's great. We've gotten started off the right foot as a nice segue into what we're talking about here. So again, we are empowering everyday women through our stories, the good, the bad, and the funny. And we're quite honestly going to be a little bit of all three today. So I'm going to start with something that I've heard a lot, and I just heard it 5 seconds ago, is I have heard this probably from no less than 3-4 people over the last couple of weeks. When I ask people how they're doing, they say I'm busy and I'm overwhelmed. Like that word overwhelmed. And I feel the more people say it, I keep paying attention to it. And I've come to realize I hate that phrase. Do you guys agree with me? Like I don't know what it is. It's like almost like nails on the chalkboard. Like I just don't like the word overwhelmed. And it's not because it's not real and life isn't full, but it's because I think that it's that word overwhelmed is becoming a part of our default saying that just chalks up everything that we're feeling into this little phrase. And I don't even think we even know when we say we feel overwhelmed what it is we're actually even talking about. Do you feel that way? Do you guys use the word I feel overwhelmed? What is your hot take on that phrase? I feel overwhelmed.
I don't know that I say it a lot, but I know what you mean, because I feel like anxious is one of those words. I don't like that word.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me cringe when people say anxious. So I guess overwhelmed could be very similar, but now that you say it, I do feel overwhelmed all the time.
Jamie, what do you think?
I was gonna say, I think it's one of those words that, like I used to say, I stress is a choice and I choose not to be stressed out because I really hate the word stressed. I don't, I just, I'm
And
like,
that's the one I use.
okay. So there's some words that just kind of like make you go, eh. You like, you just said you cringe at it. I was thinking about this too, Coralyn, and I was thinking, I would rather be overwhelmed than underwhelmed.
Hmm.
That's, that's a nice
You
way
know
to
what I
look
mean?
at that.
Like
Completely
I'd
different
rather be
direction
like
than
a
I was
go,
heading, but
yeah, like I would rather be a go-getter and get just over everything than I would be bored by being underwhelmed. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't think I say the word overwhelmed as much or the word stressed as much, but I feel it. Like
mhm.
what's Webster's dictionary? What's what's the
Yeah. Well,
definition
what
of
should we be using then, Corlin? We
yeah,
know what we're
Well,
feeling.
let's
What should
let's
tell
let's
us?
let's talk about it.
teach
Well, here
us.
and I'll tell you the story is that I've had this girl come into my life that is I'm a little bit in a mentoring relationship with her, and we were talking through some things that she was going through, and she was talking about her job and her personal life, and she owns a house and she's trying to rehab it and all these different things, and probably 3 or 4 times she was thinking through something that she'd like to do. She's like, I don't know, I just feel so overwhelmed when I think about it. And then we're like, fast forward the conversation a little bit more, and I'm like, what about like, what if you like went back to school? She's like, I don't know, like it just seems like I feel really overwhelmed when I and at some like during the conversation we talked about, kind of made a little bit of a game plan and what she could do as like a first step. But I reeled it in and I offered it up to her. I said, I'm going to give you a little piece of advice if you want to take it, because I don't really have this. Like, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist by any means, but you keep saying this word that you feel overwhelmed, and I feel like you just give it too much power. When,
Mm.
in my opinion, when I hear that word overwhelmed, it's like the person that's saying it doesn't have any agency over the decisions that they're making. Like, it's just, I just feel this way, and like, to me it sounds like you're in a state that you have no control. And so
Mhm.
I just challenged her back to think of a different word, like really think of like, what is it that you're actually feeling right now, and can we say that? And it's fine to say you feel like your plate is full, like you feel like you're maybe feeling anxious, or you're frustrated, or you're
Mhm.
angry, or maybe there's some joy in there too that you're feeling, that you just don't know how to manage all of these emotions. But like, pick the thing, because if you're feeling unsettled about it, you can't, like, overwhelm seems like there's like so many boxes. Does that make sense?
It seems like there's no win when you say overwhelmed. Like the first thing that comes to my head is like, I can't handle this. There's no win. I'm drowning.
I said, I'm just going to say I'm losing my damn mind. How about that?
That happens all the
Right?
time. I always think about it, and I know I've told you guys this story before, but there's been times in my life when I was just, there was so much to juggle. And I always feel like I'm holding all these things in my arms, and it's a Jenga situation, I guess. But like, I feel like I'm holding all these things. And if someone comes by and they say, oh, let me take that from you, my first gut reaction is like, if you take this one thing out of my hands, I'm going to drop everything else.
Hmm.
Yeah. That reminds me of like back in the day when I used to be like a bartender or server at a restaurant. It was the same thing. Like, you're holding like a whole tray of drinks, and somebody's trying to be helpful by taking one
But
off your
no,
tray, and it unbalances the whole entire thing, and you just lose the whole, like please don't. Like, I need to handle this
yes.
myself.
Yes, like don't help me, because if you help me, the whole thing's gonna topple. Right? Yeah, no.
That's a great analogy for life, but I don't think that
Yeah.
is healthy. I feel like that it's like a one, like I can do that sometimes, but we can't operate in the state of like, I have to hold 19 drinks to have life happen, right? Like,
Yeah.
we can't walk through life holding all the things. So okay. So point one is, I feel like overwhelmed is becoming a little bit of a part of our identity. So let's start here. So I think this is happening a lot more than we actually realize, is that it's something like when you say I'm like, I feel like overwhelmed and busy. Busy is a little bit of a piece of it, but I've also decided to take the word busy out of my vocabulary. If somebody asks me how I'm doing, I've committed to not saying that I'm busy. I will say my plate is full, but I'm not telling you that I'm busy. I just like have chosen to pick a different word because I feel like everybody says that they're busy. And I think overwhelmed is kind of getting in that when you're like busy to the next level, like busy without kind of control. And
Coralyn's gonna change her whole vocabulary.
I know, right?
I'm not using this word anymore. I'm just gonna start with the cuss words. I think
Yeah.
that will help me.
I mean,
I don't like anxious. I don't like overwhelmed. I don't like this. I don't like stressed. You don't like busy.
right. But I do think, I mean, wouldn't you guys all agree? Like all of three of these words they're not very powerful. They don't come from like from positions of I feel great or
Yeah.
I have control, right? And so I think when something becomes part of your default language, it can like quietly become a part of your identity. If you
Yeah.
say something out loud enough, then that's just who you become. And I don't want to be in a state of overwhelm. And the more that we talk about things out loud, it kind of just comes in.
Yeah. And some people might say, well, I am overwhelmed. But again, going back to what you said, what are you actually feeling? And that doesn't mean you have to say it, right? So I might have a headache, but I guarantee you, the more I say I have a headache, the worse the headache's going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. When do you guys feel the most, I don't want to say the O word. When do you guys feel your life is abundantly full with a little bit of stress and busy?
That's a good question because I was thinking about that this weekend when I used to say, I remember there was a point in time where the work week felt the heaviest. And I, it's to the point where even on the weekends, it's just a different type of heavy. So I need to figure out how to lose weight. And I'm not talking about the kind that I'm carrying my body weight.
I'm like,
That's another show. But I think it's all the time now. It really is for me. It's all the time. And I don't know if this has anything to do with like perimenopause, but it's like what is like the older I get, the more that heaviness that I feel all the time. I'm like, what is this? Is that part? We're gonna have to get Coach Mary back on here to talk to us.
yeah.
Like I said before, it's like I'd rather be overwhelmed than underwhelmed. And I think sometimes you get to a point in your life where like it's hard to sit still. I don't know about you guys, but I have to make myself sit still because I'm just so, what's happening next? What are we doing next? And then you get overwhelmed or whatever the word is. But then you get this feeling of, oh my gosh, I don't know how to relax. I forgot how to sit still.
Yeah.
There's so many balls in the air and you're juggling so many things. And like you said, Jessica, you have to drop that weight, right? You have to figure out some way to like say no and just go, nope, I'm not going to do anything today. I remember you telling us one time that you like just stayed in bed all day and you never do that.
Yeah. No,
And then
I'm trying to do it more often, as crazy as that sounds, because we have to retrain our brains, I think is really where it starts. We have to retrain our brains because somewhere along the lines, we made ourselves believe that not doing anything was just being a lazy lowlife. And
Mm-hmm.
we
Yep.
had like, why would I spend 2 hours, 3 hours? That's why I don't watch TV. Because to me, I'm just like, why would I do that? Well, I'm forcing myself to watch TV more because that's the only way I know how to sit my butt still.
Yes, sit
But
still.
don't you think that's hilarious? Is that we feel like we need to be entertained even then. Is that we're sitting there doing nothing, but please, like, I need to have something to entertain me.
What was
It's
your
not
thing?
entertainment. It's just that feeling that there's always so much to do. And why would I just be sitting here doing nothing when you know there's 20 things right under your nose that needs to be done?
Yeah.
What was that thing, Coralyn, you said about, I think maybe your coach had said when you were on a walk or maybe where like, don't listen to anything.
Yeah.
Literally
Be
silence.
silent.
I can't. I don't even know.
Listen, I went on a walk today, legit, and I had my earbuds in and I was feeling a little frustrated. You both know I've been feeling a little under the weather, and it's just I have again lots of things to do, and I have about like 1 ounce of motivation because I just hit a wall yesterday. I think I was telling you guys this earlier. But all that to say is okay, I'm gonna go on a walk and I'm gonna listen to audiobook. And I just was okay, I'm going to practice being quiet. So I literally went on a walk. I got 8,000 steps in silent. And then I kept on having to try to redirect myself into being quiet. But it's really important to unplug. And I mean, wasn't really doing nothing. I was kind of just getting some
Can
steps
you
in.
help me with this, please?
I was trying to get vitamin D. I mean, really at the end of the day. And I was like so exhausted. It was like I just had to like get up and get some sunshine.
Yeah,
But
I just can't. I can't do okay, in those moments, you know what I end up doing? Talking to God. Like I can't stop talking.
but that's good.
No, but that's not what you said. That's not I don't know. That's not silence.
But that's the point, is to silence the noise so you can actually hear from
Oh,
God.
well, I do that. Yeah, no, I do that.
Good.
Yeah, I wasn't counting that because I'm still talking.
I just think as soon as that happens, my brain just turns on, and then I'm like creating presentations in my head, and then I'm talking to myself because I'm practicing my presentations, and
Yes.
yeah, if I'm in the car and there is no podcast or book or radio or whatever on, I am literally talking to myself because I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm reviewing all the things. I
Yeah.
same Jessica. Like I don't know how to not have something going, some dialogue.
Yeah.
That's
But
skill.
also that's probably a little bit, guys, if we go back to like the topic of the state of being overwhelmed, is that there's there's an intervention that needs to happen, because if we have an inability to sit and just be quiet and we always have to fill our time with something, that is not helping the state of with life being full. And one of the as I when I was talking about this in preparation to help this girl out and to stop being overwhelmed and stop using that word, I did a little bit of research on like what is like why. And one of the things that a lot of contemporary psychologists talk about is that it has to do with a lot of the stuff that we take in, that we allow information and people and events and circumstances to come in, and we don't have our own filter to say what we're allowing in, and not only just to in, but also to stay rested or stay in our thought process, like on our plate, all the things. And so when we allow too much in, too many thoughts, then that adds to it. Like we've got to think about 10 different things. So we need to pick a thing, pick one thing.
The noise. It's the noise, getting through the noise.
Mhm. Yeah. Do you guys feel like part of like the busyness of life is just saying yes to too many things?
One
Why do I know
thousand.
both of you guys are looking at me?
I don't know. Do you
No,
have
I'm
do you
looking
have
at myself.
chickens running around your house while you're trying to like garden and then also sell buildings?
Yep. Yep. Say yes to all the things. It's hard to like, I think some of it has to do with the age and the point you are at in your life. So, like, one of the things right now, Sophie, you guys know, she's about ready to graduate high school. She's my last kid. So, she's like an adult. She's off into the world. And so my first thought is like, well, I could totally travel now. Like, I don't have to be home. But at the same time, yes, I have 9 gardens going right now, and 4 chickens, and dogs, and the yard, and the house, and all the things. It's so hard to say no when you think you have the capacity to do it, right?
Mhm.
Because you're like thinking about it going, oh, no, I can fit another thing in. That's why I'm always late, because I'm like, oh, I can fit one more thing in. And then,
Don't put that on late. But you
What,
know,
Jessica, counterpoint, please.
well,
counterpoint.
something that she said is like, we always think we have the capacity. But here's the truth. I don't check my capacity before I say yes. That's the thing, right? There's not even like, it's like setting up an
Writing that
appointment
down.
and saying, I could be there tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And you just say yes. Okay, be there Wednesday at 5. Yes. Okay. Can you be there? And you don't even know if you have another appointment. And so that's what it is for me. And because I always just, two things. I'm so grateful to have what I have and be where I'm at, that I feel like I owe something to every single thing in person. And I've learned so much, and people have poured so much into me that it's like, how dare you say no to someone?
Mm.
That's what it is. It's not, hey, can you go to this party on Friday? And I'm like, yes, I'll go. I'll be there. Hey, and then can you come hang out by the pool? Yes, I can do that. No, none of this. None of my schedule. I was just telling someone, I'm like trying to figure out how am I going to make my mom's 70th birthday, because I'm booked until I'm all the way into September now. And it's like, and none of those things are about me. So
Mm.
unfortunately, that's how I justify it. But there's no justifying. It is what it is, and it has to be. I have to be stopped at some point here. So glad we're talking about this, Core.
Well, I mean, it's a combination because we're saying yes to things we think we can do, or because you want to help. You don't want to let somebody down. And none of those things are bad things, but it all adds up. And I think what happens, I mean, for me specifically, is that I say yes, say yes, say yes. And I do have the capacity to do many things. But you throw in something like a wrench into it, like catching laryngitis this last week, well, then everything derails because all the things to get all the things I've said yes to done, I need to have my mind cleared. I need energy. I need to sleep
Yeah,
well.
and you need to
And
have
all
help.
the things happen. So if we don't, as much as we plan to say yes to all the things, if we don't plan margin into that too, then one wrong turn derails a whole system, or it could, or it just makes everything that you say yes to that much harder because we're
Yeah.
not going to drop the balls. They're going to get done and I'm going to be crabby, or they're going to get done and it's not going to be 100%, all the time. And so there's some things that need to give there.
Yeah.
That's a good point too, Coralyn. I remember being in a position where I was given a lot of responsibility, and I remember going to my boss and saying, "I have so many things right now that I'm not efficient in any of them." And I feel like that's kind of where you're going. We're not good at any. We're okay at all the things, but we're not great at the things.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we're okay at everything, but really we're not great at any one thing because we're pulled in too many areas.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the fixes. What do we do so we're not feeling this feeling overwhelmed? And I'd say the first thing, like touched on it right at the beginning, is we need to start replacing that word overwhelm with something else. The suggestion and the tip is just pick a different word. Overwhelm needs to be replaced with exactly how you're feeling, and get really granular about it. Just
Hmm.
exactly what is it that's causing you and it could be a couple different things, but pick one or two things that are really wherever your mind goes first that's causing you stress or anxiety or whatever that feeling is. Just name what it is and what are the contributing factors to that, and just get real specific.
Yeah.
So I like when you said frustrated, because when I'm overwhelmed, I become frustrated. So if you think about the aftermath of that word, right? What's the result? And then think about what got you there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm frustrated because, so you don't get to just say I'm frustrated. You got to have the why behind it, or because. So I'm frustrated because I have too many things scheduled this week. I'm frustrated because my husband isn't helping this week, or, something like that.
Well, you brought this up too, where Jessica, where you said you didn't really like the term suffering from, right?
Hmm.
Where you said like I don't like when you say I'm suffering from this. It's more like I'm going through this rather than I'm suffering from it. So I think that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of that makes me think of the same type of thing where it's like I'm
Right.
frustrated because, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can walk yourself right into what the real problem is and also what the solution is.
Yeah. Well, and also with that is that you have to be really honest with yourself. Is that sometimes I need to take a step back and just be real honest with the people that maybe like I feel like I'm frustrated either maybe with my husband or with my child or with maybe some coworkers or something like that. But did I like what ownership can I take as a part of this frustration? Like, did I say yes to too many things and just be
Yeah.
real honest? And then do I need to backpedal or do I need to push that off or do I need to prioritize the things that I said yes to? Like,
Mhm.
what is it about the things that are the most frustrated? And I also think a good piece of that too is that I think like a challenge that I have is that I have an unset expectation that I never communicated to other people, but I have an expectation of how maybe our weekend is going to be or how this project is going to go. And if I have a vision, but I haven't communicated that, that causes some frustration for me. And then maybe I just need to say, hey, you know what? My expectation is that we were going to stay at home tonight, but my husband wants to like go out and do other things and he didn't communicate that to me, and so I'm thinking we're going to do this and he wants to do this, and then me not being able to tell him yes but also wanting to stay home, if that makes sense, is that there's a little bit of frustration when I don't communicate myself clearly too.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's another thing that I would say, and I don't know what you said that just made me think of this. Um, I was having a conversation with a group of women, and, we had this moment where, and I can't remember if one of them happened to mention being overwhelmed or, I got a lot going on or something. And one of them said, well, you know what? She picked out someone in the group and said, she's been through a lot. She lost her mom. She's this, she's that, she's this, and she still shows up and gets shit done. And the more and more I thought about that, I'm like, you know what? I'm probably going to pick up the phone and have a conversation, because don't compare one person to another. Like, how dare you? Like that, if that's the way this person is built, but we really shouldn't compare ourselves. And I think that sometimes we do that and we overwhelm ourselves because we're trying to keep up with maybe our circles.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't run in many circles, but I know that that happens a lot. And I found myself in this situation. I didn't feel like that, but someone else in the group might have felt that way by someone making the comparison. Don't do
Yeah.
that. Don't do
Yeah.
that. And I'm trying, I've been praying about the conversation because I'm trying to figure out how to have the conversation nicely without saying, who the hell do you think you are? Don't do that. Like, how dare you do that? Because first of all, that's trying to make other people feel a certain way about being overwhelmed. And every one of us is different. And you don't know what's going on in someone's head, what's going on in someone's heart, what's going on in someone's home. So I think that just made me think of that, is we can't compare ourselves to other people because sometimes we create that feeling of being overwhelmed trying to keep up with what the next person is doing.
I completely agree. I was thinking about the same thing as you were saying that is like, don't give kudos to somebody who got through it and is still, whatever, stressed out or what, like handling so many things. That
It's
is
so
not,
dumb.
that's hurtful
So
and that's
dumb.
on everybody.
Celebrating somebody who is operating in a highly dysfunctional way, which maybe that person was or wasn't, but it seems to me with all the things that you said this person was going through, that is definitely a fake it till you make it, and probably internally is not doing very well.
Hmm.
And we don't need to celebrate that. I mean, like, probably walk
No.
alongside this person and let her know that it's fine.
Right.
Right. I looked
You
at that
don't,
message and I was just like, we got to do better, ladies. We got to do
yeah.
better, because that was dumb.
Yeah,
Don't
absolutely.
think that. That's not kudos worthy. Instead, what are you doing? Are you okay? Can I help you? What's going on?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So pray for me to
Like,
be able to
yay
give that
you for
feedback.
Yeah. The other thing I always like to do when I feel like really busy is really a simple tip is just to write everything down. I know that Jamie, you are a writer. Jessica, you are a writer, like checklist. And so doing just that proverbial brain dump on a piece of paper, I think alleviates a lot of
Yeah. Or a
pressure.
whiteboard.
Or a whiteboard.
Or you know what I'm getting next? I'm getting a blackboard. Or a blackboard with neon
Is that a
markers.
Rachel thing?
Well, I did kind of feel like, why have all my boards always been whiteboards? It's time for a blackboard around here.
Come on, get
No,
the
but I saw it at this
neon
office.
markers.
Yes, it was
I
so
know.
cute. I was like, oh my God, this reminds me of the 80s. I am going to put these all over my office. Don't worry, they're coming.
You're
I'm
great.
sending.
That's awesome.
I will get one in the mail tomorrow.
No, I love that because I think when I've done that before, because it's like I feel like I've got so many things rolling around in my head, and one, I don't want to miss anything, so I keep thinking of the same thing until it gets done. But if
Yeah.
I can just write it down, and especially at night when I feel like I can't do anything right now because it's nighttime, but I'm feeling like I need to get these things done, I sleep like crap if I go to bed in that state. So just I'm not a handwriter. Like I have a notes on my app that I just speak it, or I just like send myself a text with it. But I
Yeah.
can't say that loud enough that how much that helps me sleep. And when I am thinking about something and I just send myself a text or write myself a note, and then I give myself the permission to let it go out of my brain, at least until the morning, so I can just sleep and be efficient that way.
I
Serve
love that.
myself in that way.
Yeah, yeah, and I write things down. It does make me, well, just stay more organized and feel better. But then there's, mornings when I come downstairs and I just got to write, "You got this, girl," on my whiteboard. And sometimes you just got to write yourself a little note, and that helps too. So I think writing things down is really
Mhm.
helpful.
I'm with you guys as well. I text things to myself all the time. I have my
Yeah.
own text conversation because I'll think of something. I don't want to miss it. I don't necessarily write it down, Jessica, because I have notes everywhere, but
Yeah.
I will text it to myself so that I can just keep that sort of like conversation with yourself going, but then also like anytime day or night you come up with some good idea, I want to capture it. And
Yeah.
if you don't,
Yeah.
I'm going to continue thinking about it. Yeah.
And I think the last tip that I have here is just focus on the next step. We say this a lot in terms of prioritizing and just figuring out what the next step is. But if you can reduce all the things down into what can I do now? Like, what can I do today to alleviate the challenge? Or what can I do in the next hour? Sometimes even what can I do in the next like 5-10 minutes? But what is the easy thing, and what is the next step that makes sense to help moving towards this? Because maybe you're not going to figure out the whole entire problem. Like if you're not going to save the world by the morning, but if you can at least identify what's one step that's going to get you closer than you were, then sometimes that brings a lot of peace just in that.
Absolutely.
But there we have it. We are banishing the word overwhelmed out of our system. What are your takeaways from this conversation, ladies? What does need to leave our listeners with?
Well, for me, I'm just gonna, figure out ways to not overextend myself. And every time we have one of these conversations that all kind of align together, I'm reminded, I take a little something from it, and then I go off and put it into action. So one of these days, hopefully before I'm 65, I'll get it, and one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I think my takeaway, it has to do a little bit with my day today. Just realizing that so many of us are going through the same stuff. So many of us are just trying to take on everything that they can. So many of us are just, we're trying to juggle so many things, and to give each other a little bit of grace, I think that's kind of my takeaway with this. It's just like we said, we don't have to, if we don't have the capacity to handle all the things, that is okay. And we don't have to encourage each other to get so stressed out and so busy that we feel like we're failing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I think that's my takeaway is just like, come on, we're all in this together. We're all doing the same things. We're all trying to be successful. We're all trying to be moms and wives, partners and chicken owners and whatever. But we're all trying to do these things and be successful. And it's okay
Uh-huh.
if we take a day off or we take 2 hours to watch TV or whatever it is. I think it's that, Coralyn, you always say, give yourself some grace. That's where my takeaways and lying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You just made me think of this too. So I had a really busy day. It's very frustrating. And which is funny, right? Because we think about this and we had this conversation already planned. We didn't know what our day was going to be. And lo and behold, that was our day. And right now, I probably have, and I'm not kidding you, probably 60, 70 text messages waiting for me on my phone. And some of them are group text messages and stuff. But like the example I gave you, it almost feels like bullying. Like you're part of something and you're trying to bully me for not working harder when I'm clearly saying, hey, I might not be able to hit that deadline because I got a lot going on right now. And you give me an example of somebody else that it just hit me. That's bullying. So I'm going to have this conversation, but I left my phone upstairs because even if my phone was sitting right next to me,
Mhm.
I'm having this feeling in my chest because I know that there is a lot of text messages sitting there. And just knowing that and knowing that my phone is sitting next to me, this is crazy, right? I'm like feeling some type of negative energy. You like what I did there? I'm not feeling overwhelmed, but I'm feeling this negative
I like it.
energy because I know that I have to pick up that phone. At some point, I got to face those messages, right? And some of them have been going since 8 o'clock this morning and I haven't responded. And why am I sitting here thinking like, oh my God, I don't want them to think that I'm lazy and I'm not answering, I'm not responding when I have been working nonstop. I've had no lunch, I've had no water, and I wasn't kidding when I said I've been holding my peace since 12 o'clock.
Didn't you tell me you haven't peed since noon?
And I'm saying this out
All
loud
right.
because this shit is crazy. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm going to get out.
To
My rant is
anybody
over.
on those text messages, can you please give Jessica a break? Anybody. We're sending out an SOS.
Anyway, I thank you for this conversation. It has been very good for me.
It's been fantastic. All right. So just to wrap it up. So I don't think the goal is to never feel overwhelmed, right? I think it's just really to pause long enough to ask, what is this really? What am I feeling? Where is it coming from? And just name the thing so you can you can deal with it and you can make it more manageable. Because once you say what it is, you can actually do something with it. And chances are you're probably not as stuck as you feel like you were to begin with, right? So if this episode hit for any of you or the people in your text messages, please like, share, and subscribe and let them know that you're stressing my girl out.
And none of them are probably listening. Thanks, listeners.
Well, maybe they need to. Maybe they need to. They need a little lead like a girl in their life. But
there you go.
Thanks for listening to this episode. Tune in next week, and we can't wait to see you then.
Bye.